This is Cult Confessions with Christy and Josie. Welcome to our podcast.
Trigger warning. May contain themes of religious trauma and sexual abuse. Disclaimer. All information in this podcast is our opinion based on our experiences. We do not purport any of this content to be inherently factual and believe that each individual has the right to draw their own conclusion.
Hi, I'm Christy.
And I'm Josie. And today on Cult Confessions, we are returning with episode 2 of our book club. Same book. We are going to be reading through at least like 2 more chapters, I think, of When Risqué is Okay by Clint Caviness. Our first episode, we just did the prologue. That's how problematic this book is. It's ridiculous. So I went and read through chapter 1 and Christy went and read through chapter 2. So we're going to be having some very interesting, live reactions to some of these things in this book. I think Christy read chapter 1 a while ago. I haven't read chapter 2 at all. So we're probably going to say some mean things today. It's going to be great. Have you read this whole book? Have you read this book before?
No, I mean, I was never allowed to, obviously, when I heard about it when I was a teen.
Right. Yeah. This is married people only. God forbid teenagers know anything about sex.
I think it literally says that,
the prologue talked about, when my daughters are older,
on the cover
I hope this...
says only...
Oh, does it really?
Yeah, I'm pretty positive it says on the cover, that it's just for married people.
That's bonkers. I didn't even look at the cover. Okay, I might have to go back and look at the cover.
We can insert if it's on there. I'm pretty sure it does.
Oh my God.
But yeah.
So that's a problem all on its own. We love that. So I think that we'll probably just jump right in and start with this first paragraph because we've got some pretty blatant sexism here that starts off chapter 1. This is going to be great. So he says, most women make love to their husbands and think that should hold him for a while. Like it's a gas tank they're filling up or the Saturday night special they attend to once a week, whether he needs it or not.
Oh, God.
Oh, most husbands take their wives out on a nice date or to buy a dress and think that should keep her happy for a while. Because that's all we want as women is a new dress. That's it.
Dude, it gets worse. I can't.
But that kind of thinking is all wrong. We are approaching one another's primary needs with a minimalist view. The question should not be, how little can I do and still keep them from making my life miserable? The thought should be, how much can I do to make them happier, more fulfilled, and totally loved? How can I best serve their needs?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Not all of this is terrible, but most of it is. So he's literally...
There's some parts where I'm like, yeah, I understand. Basically the whole thing about, the depletion or whatever is, you want to be living life always with the glass full. Yeah. Essentially.
Well, yeah, so chapter 1 is, depletion versus abundance, that mindset. And... I can get on board with that, living in abundance mindset. I mean, that's something that's very popular. That makes a lot of sense. But I think that when you apply it to sex specifically through an IFB lens, it ends up with women getting abused more often than not. So
it's usually not a mutual situation.
Well, literally, it's not. He's saying that primary needs are men need sex or to be serviced, and women need new dresses.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
He goes on to say, this other thing that's very similar to that. Husband and wife were getting all snuggly in bed. The passion was heating up, and then the wife stopped and said, I don't feel like it. I just want you to hold me. The husband said, what? Literally capitalized with 2 question marks. The wife explained that he must not be in tune with her emotional needs as a woman. Um, so then he goes on to say that he decided to take her out to go shopping, like to like a fancy department store to go shopping. And she goes around and she like can't figure out which dress she wants. So he's like, "Oh yeah, you just get all of them." And then on top of that, he was like, "Okay, let's go and get like matching shoes for their dresses too." So like each pair of shoe he said was like $200 each for each shoe.
Jesus.
Um and then he went and got her jewelry and diamond earrings. And so they were going
Oh
to check
my
out.
God.
Yeah, okay. So they're going to check out. The wife is like insanely excited and so happy because like obviously he's like treating her.
Right.
Um and then the wife was jumping down so excited. She couldn't even believe what was going on. She said, "I'm ready to go. Let's go to the cash register." The husband said, "No, no, no, honey. We're not going to buy all this stuff." The wife's face went blank. "No, honey. I just want you to hold this stuff for a while."
Jesus fucking Christ. Women are not objects. Sex is not an object. Like,
And
sex
then
is
he
not a pretty
says,
dress. What the fuck?
she was about to explode when he said, "You must not be in tune with my financial needs as a man."
Dude, this is so stupid. This is
Isn't that
actually so
insane?
stupid. Oh my God.
Isn't that crazy? It's very similar to like that, but he's like repeating it in just like a horrific way. But
Attending to
yeah,
a woman's emotional needs, it does not have to cost $3 million. Usually it doesn't cost anything. And also, you
yeah,
should not just be attending to your wife's emotional needs to get sex. Like, you should do it because you love her. And I mean, vice
yeah.
versa. That goes both ways, 100%. Like, you should just be in tune to your spouse emotionally because you love them. It's manipulative. It's incredibly manipulative. He's literally saying, "I'm going to buy this things for you
Mm-hmm.
if you sleep with me." Like,
Yeah.
holding it over her head.
See, I was thinking that like that the story was gonna end. I was like, oh, he's gonna buy her all these things so that like she's in a good mood and he can have sex with her. But
Right.
then that didn't happen. I was like, oh shit. Either way, obviously, that's not a good thing to do.
Yeah,
But
and
I was
also
like,
like, okay, dude, the financial situation, like, you deal with finances together. In a healthy marriage,
yeah.
you deal with finances together, regardless of who's earning what. Like, I mean, Christy, you're a stay-at-home mom. You don't have an
Hmm.
income right now, and you and Nathan deal with finances together. That's healthy. Like,
Yeah.
it's, you can't lord finances over your wife or over a spouse who's not working a income producing job, because being a stay-at-home mom is a job. You can't lord that over them and be like, "I'm not going to buy you a pretty dress unless you sleep with me." That's that's icky.
No, it is gross. I don't like it at all. But
Oh
it just seems like it's like I don't know, like literally he's only being nice to you and
yeah,
doing all these things so that like you
literally.
fulfill his sexual needs.
Yeah.
And like I don't know, he goes about it almost saying like you need to like be there for your wife and stuff and be available to her and she needs to be available to me so that we have like a healthy relationship. And like for the most part, yeah,
Okay,
but
but the
at the
way that
same
he's
time,
saying that they need to be available to each other is different.
mhm,
Each person should be emotionally available to each other,
mhm.
as okay with them individually based on their boundaries.
And I mean, he does
Each,
talk about how like he's not like naturally emotional or whatever. Like doesn't know how to be like
go to
emotion like
therapy.
meet how to meet her needs emotionally, but she
Then
like
go to
teaches him.
therapy.
He talks about how she teaches him what she needs and stuff like that, which like I think that's like a good
That's
thing
good.
obviously like to
Yeah.
learn about your spouse and learn about being like a good man. But
Absolutely. But
yeah.
also go to therapy. Like, it's honestly, it's weaponized incompetence at a certain point when you're just like, I don't know how to meet your needs. I don't know how to be emotionally available to you. Like,
Mhm.
there's a certain level of that that's okay. Like, as you're starting out a relationship and you're learning the other person and like trying to figure out how to coexist together, that's totally normal. But when you've been together or you've gotten married, like made that lifelong commitment to each other, and you're still sitting there like a whiny baby saying, I don't know how to do that for you. Like, you got to do something about that. You can't
Yeah.
just sit there in that, sorry, I don't know what to do kind of mindset and expect everything to be all hunky dory.
Okay, go ahead with like the rest of what you have.
Oh my God. But yeah, okay. Also, the last thing I want to call out about this passage specifically is that, like, we are not acknowledging that women also have sexual needs and that men
Mhm.
also have emotional needs. Like, or like physical things. Like, my husband loves it when I buy him things.
Mhm.
Loves it. He loves getting things. Like, receiving gifts is a big part of his love language. Physical
Mhm.
touch is a big part of my love language. And like, it doesn't just go one way or the other because of what gender we are. Like, it's
Well,
not that simple. It's not that
yeah.
simple. It's so stupid. Okay. Ooh, okay. This was a good one. Okay. So later in this chapter, he's talking about how, in this like part of this chapter, he was talking about how he needed something. He called the store and he was like, I saw online that you had this thing that I want. Can you please make sure you have one in stock before I come down and get it? I don't think he was that nice based on how he wrote that passage, but that's basically what
No.
it was.
He
And
doesn't seem very nice in a lot of the stories he
no,
tells.
no, he doesn't. Um, but so the guy on the phone was like, yep, we got it. Come on down. So he goes down and they don't have exactly the thing that he wanted. They just had like a part of it. I think they were talking about getting a new toilet and they had the tank but not the
Yeah.
bowl or something like that. So this is what he says about that. What is the point of putting something on sale if you have no stock? It only frustrates the customer. What is the point of getting all dressed up if there's no place to go? What is the point of marriage if you plan to live like single people anyway? Why wear perfume if no one is going to nuzzle your
Oh
neck and
God.
nibble your ear? Why go to the
I know
airport
it's
if there
coming.
are no planes? Oh my God, there's more. There's more.
No, I know it's coming. It's not good.
It's not good.
Okay, go
What
ahead.
is the point of a lacy bra if he's not going to tear it off with his teeth? Stop.
Yeah,
It's
it's
like the
not.
plastic fruit on my grandmother's dinner table. It looks beautiful, but would accomplish little more than constipating anyone who tried to eat it. It's like those rubber desserts they bring around at fancy restaurants. They look perfect in every way, but you could drive tent steaks with them. Okay, I don't know what that means, but whatever. Okay, I'm sorry. I love wearing lacy bras for me. It makes me feel
Hmm.
cute, it makes me feel sexy, and it gives me confidence. I like
Hmm.
wearing cute bras because it makes me happy. I don't think my husband has ever torn my bra off with his teeth, nor do I need him to, and that is
Also,
not
let's
the
talk
reason
about
that
the
I
fact
wear
that
them.
okay, the majority of them are really expensive too. Like if
Right.
you get legit like
Oh yeah.
really fancy looking ones, they're
Yeah.
expensive. So like I don't think he would want to be ruining them
Right?
financially speaking.
Right? What about your financial needs? No, stop it. And also, like, what is the point? Like, why wear perfume if no one is going to nuzzle your neck and nibble your ear? Because I don't want to stink. I want to smell good. Like, I like to smell good. I don't like to smell like BO
It just seems like every single thing that a woman does is just
for a man.
yeah. Like
Yeah.
he very much sees a woman as and like he objectifies
And an
women
object.
a
Yeah.
lot. Yeah.
Yeah. So we love that view. That's great. Uh, I can't, honestly. It's so ridiculous. No, dude, during COVID, I'm not even gonna lie to you, I got dressed up to go check the mail. Like, not
Mm-hmm.
like fancy dressed up, but like I would put on jeans and like a cute top or something to go check the mail. There's
Yeah.
no place to go, but I felt better about myself when I did that. It wasn't for
Mm-hmm.
anybody else. Like, I don't know. He's just looking at everything completely wrong. It's so stupid. Okay. Next passage. Okay. So this one, I'm gonna read this. There's only like one part of this that I really want to call out, and it goes along with the next one that I have as well. But I'm gonna read this just to give you guys like a taste of how he writes about service workers. He's talking about his experience in a restaurant. After he said the restaurant was empty, they sat down, waited a while for service. You're allowed to be a little annoyed, 100%. I mean, they're still people. You need to treat them like people. But this is how he writes about service workers. So we love this.
Mm-hmm.
She smacked chewing gum and was constantly distracted by a friend of hers who happened to slide into the booth behind her. We were generously served 1 glass of water each and a loaf of bread. Once our food arrived, we never saw her again, not at our table or any others. I needed some more water. There was none. So I chewed the ice. I needed more sour cream for my potato skin, which had gotten as chafed and angry as a fat man's thighs on a Stairmaster. But there was none of that either. Finally, in desperation, I took our bone-dry glasses in hand and set out wandering about the restaurant like a sojourner from the Sahara Desert, crying out, "Water, water, does anyone have water?"
This man he's so dramatic.
So dramatic.
Like, bro,
So dramatic.
you're gonna be okay if you don't get a drink of water, like, for
And
a couple
also,
hours.
like you're totally allowed to be like, yeah, this is annoying. Like, I've been in restaurants where I haven't had good service and it is annoying. You go there to eat and
Yeah.
you expect to, have food and water available. That's totally fine. But at the same time, I'm a big girl. If I need water, I can find myself some water. I am not
Yeah.
totally dependent on somebody just working their job. Like, so that's annoying. But no, the part I wanted to
Well,
call
like,
out was like,
if I don't get like a refill or something, it's like, okay, it's fine. I'll just have some more later. Or like, I do try
right.
to get the attention of someone to get me
Yeah,
water or whatever.
100%.
I'll ask someone else that's running by,
Exactly.
But yeah, I don't think I've ever been really annoyed. I think, I don't know. I usually don't like to say anything when things
I
go
know.
bad. Um, like, we recently went to this one place, which, like, we liked a lot the very first time we went, but
Mm-hmm.
then the second time the food was like everything, they were out of everything that we liked.
Oh.
And then what we did get was like pretty like burnt
Oh.
kind of thing. And I've never really had that happen. So I was just like, oh, this is weird. And we just kept eating it and stuff. And then I was like, at the end, she's like, was it okay? Did you guys enjoy it or whatever? And I was just like, I was like, it was okay. It was a little bit burnt. Like, and I like almost didn't say anything, but
Oh
that's
my
like
God.
literally all I said. I was like, it was a little bit burnt. Like,
Yeah, I am not a
I didn't want
confrontational
to be mean.
person.
I know I didn't want to. I was just like very like
Yeah,
just barely peeped it out, and I was
I
like,
know.
okay, that was like horrific just saying that.
That's personal growth for you though. Like,
Yeah, I know, because I probably wouldn't have said anything normally, but I was like, I
right.
feel like I need to say something just in
Same.
case they don't know. It was more for them, like, just in case they didn't know that it kind of didn't taste as good as they thought, because I like charred, but not like, it was
Well,
like
there's a
ultra
difference between like
charred.
blackened and like full on burnt, like depending on
Yeah,
what it is. Like,
it
there's
was
a
a little
difference.
bit further than, yeah,
Yeah.
just a little charred, but yeah.
So yeah, the part of this that I just found super awesome was how he compared his potato skin to a fat man's thighs on a Stairmaster.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
First
he
of
has some
all,
weird comparisons for sure.
okay, I'm not here for the body shaming. Like, I'm really
Mm-hmm.
not. And also, if somebody who's overweight is on a Stairmaster, they don't need to be put down for that. Good for
Yeah.
them working on themselves. We love to see it. So you can fuck right off, sir. And
No,
this
he
is
says other things that
oh
are, I
yeah.
think, I
Oh, there's
related.
more. There's more. This is the paragraph right after. So we've got some more body shaming coming. We love it. So this is right after what I just read. He says, I got the attention of several other diners who gave me a sympathetic and knowing look. But to my astonishment, no employee materialized to slake my thirst. I found the condiment island on my own and was in the process of refilling our glasses from the tap when a heavy-set, harried woman whose chin whiskers looked more like stray eyebrows bustled from the other side of the restaurant and relieved me with apologies. She puffed away, again just as fast as she had come, hips churning like two Volkswagens trying to pass each other.
Jeez Louise.
What an ass.
That phobic munch? Yeah, and
Seriously.
he wasn't skinny. Jeez. Okay.
So, yeah,
But obviously it's not for men to be skinny, it's more for women to
that's true. That's our
worry about their
responsibility.
body.
Yup. Yeah. So, and then later in that same paragraph, he says, when you are not observant and your mate has to ask and wait and wait and wait, frustration and anger boil up. They subtly rattle the empty glass at first. They chew their ice. They ask for service, a little put out. Finally, they set off in search of meeting their own needs and many times just give up and leave. Abundance would have saved the marriage. Depletion killed it. So, again, if you don't sleep with your husband, he will cheat on you.
I can say the same thing for men. Like when I'm like asking for something to be done,
Yeah.
like, can you help me with this? And you have to ask over and over and over again. It gets really
Yeah.
annoying. And like I
Yep.
can relate to that storyline, I guess. But
I can relate to the
it's like,
sentiment of like being annoyed about something, but I also like there is a big difference between can you please fucking take out the trash and can you please give me your body? Like those are very
oh
different
yeah, no,
things.
you can't compare being like, damn, we haven't had sex in a week to
Yeah.
help me carry this heavy object.
Right. No, those are very different things.
Yeah.
So, yeah. It's ridiculous. Okay, so again, on the abundance mentality, this is his perspective. He's saying this book is written from an abundance mentality, not rights. Love that. Not 50-50. Love that too. And not depletion. Our goal is not survival, but joyful living. Our destination is not K-rations and powdered milk, but a banquet of fanciful feasting. I will portray married lovemaking from this vantage point and enjoy it. Okay, good for you. If you will embrace this scriptural concept also, your marriage will be sweeter. Love will be built by kindness. Every temptation will be lessened. Both partners will glow from the inside. Okay. There's parts of this that I'm just like, yes, that makes sense by itself. Love will be built by kindness. Love that. That's beautiful. We love that. But this book is written from an abundance mentality, and then he specifically says not rights and not 50-50. So we don't think anybody has any rights. Love that. And okay, so let's talk about not 50-50. I think that it depends on the context. If you want to say a marriage is 50-50 or not, whatever. I don't believe in a marriage being 50-50. I think a lot of days for us are 50-50 and a lot of days aren't. It just depends. We've had days where I have 4 autoimmune diseases. I can't take on 50% of the shit in this house every single day. I can't. And there are some days where I have good days and I can take on 75% and I'll be fine. Like, it is not 50-50 for us. And we communicate through that, and that's great. So depending on what lens you look at that, that's not necessarily bad in and of itself. When you look at it through this IFB lens in the context of this book, it's like it's saying not 50-50 because you don't think women and men are equal. And that's very different than helping each other out when you need it. So I'm not here for it. Okay. Okay, yeah, this is this is a little weird. This is a part where he was talking about his kid, his daughter, who was like, I think 10, 12 years old, 10 at this point. And
Oh, yeah, okay. The
this is
tickets?
the,
This was weird. It was like it's a cute sentiment to start, but then it got weird.
yes. So yeah, so he's talking about his daughter giving him like little coupons for like things that she
Hmm.
can do for him, which is adorable. That's totally adorable. And
Which
I have
I've
done
done that before with
same.
Nathan, like when we were dating.
100%. I have done that before too. I'm just like, this entitled you to one free back rub or a foot massage or
Hmm.
something like that. Like that's, and he's talking about his daughter doing like similar things.
Hmm.
And so initially I'm just like, oh, that's cute. We love that. And then he says, she walked into my office one day at the age of 10, looking rather disturbed and holding something behind her back. Almost with tears in her eyes, she said, and he did clarify that he paraphrased this, Dad, all these years I have been bringing you tickets, but it dawned on me that I have been bringing you what I wanted you to have rather than what you might desire. So today and from now on, I'm giving you my anything ticket. There are no limitations. If it pleases you, I want to do it for you. That's so weird to write that about your kid. Ugh.
Yeah, if it pleases you, I want to
Yeah.
do it for you.
Well, okay, so
It's very creepy.
not only is like the verbiage really like icky feels, but
Hmm.
also I'm not loving this like lack of boundaries. Like
Hmm.
it is really 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 important to teach your kids how to set healthy boundaries. And
Well, no. So with what I'm reading in this book so far, which we'll get to the whole Adam and Eve and help me and so on and so forth, and that it's very much in the idea that we need someone.
mhm,
Like we aren't created whole. Like I mean,
right.
that's literally what he says next in the next
Yeah.
whatever page. Um, so it seems like he's creating like enmeshments, right? Like,
And some like
um,
unhealthy codependency.
yeah, no, literally, it's like he says that we're interdependent or something like that.
Yeah.
Like they're codependent, basically. Like, and he wants it to be that way.
Yeah.
So,
And no. Like you don't have to be married to be a fulfilled person. You don't have to be in a relationship to be a fulfilled and whole person all by
it's
yourself. You
it's
also don't have to be
giving
a Christian to be a fulfilled person all by
it's
yourself.
giving
Like
JD Vance.
honestly, facts. Damn cat
Like
ladies
you have to be married for any fulfillment in your life.
or have kids for any fulfillment in your life. Like no.
Hmm. No,
I'm
yeah,
not
I
here for
get,
that.
yeah,
But
it
yeah,
definitely
so I
gets to
think
that
that
way though.
like later what you were telling me a little bit about chapter 2, I think that like context makes total sense. What I got from this when I first read it was just the ridiculous lack of boundaries that
Hmm.
he's like supporting his daughter to not have boundaries. Like it dawned on me that I have been bringing you what I wanted you to have rather than what you might desire. Like it's okay to say no. Like if you're not comfortable doing something, and okay, so I'm going to take this out of context a little bit and put it into the sexual context because this book is about sex. So if I'm saying like it dawned on me that I've been giving you what I wanted you to have rather than what you might desire, that opens up the door for abuse. And I'm not saying that you can't like explore and try new things and have fun, but it needs to be done with consent and communication.
Hmm.
And that's not what's happening here. So I just don't love that he's instilling in his daughter this belief that it's okay not to have boundaries around what you do for somebody else, even and sometimes especially somebody that you love.
Hmm.
So I don't like that. And then, okay, I think that I have one or two more. Let me see here. Oh, yeah, loved this. Some of you are convinced that if you live this way, your mate would take advantage of you. And they might for a while, but someone has to be the stronger person and get the ball rolling. Others of you may be thinking I'm some sick reincarnation of Pollyanna, living in a virtual dreamland, leading you on to yet another disappointment. I can only say you can build any marriage you both want. So it's totally okay if your mate takes advantage of you. You just gotta suck it up and get through it. No, fuck that. No. I'm not here for that at all.
Yeah, that especially hits different when you're seeing it in the sexual way that he's probably meaning it.
Yeah. Yup. So, okay, so this is my last one. He says, I believe both men and women make their own happiness by the way they treat their mate. I believe every wife can be married to a man who looks for ways to do nice things for her all of the time. It is in her power. She just has to do the things that unlocks those doors inside of him. The same is true for the man. No one can resist the power of perpetual kindness. That kind of love is irresistible and irrepressible. It requires an echo in kind. God's truth and God's power are available to transform whatever you have into whatever he intended. Try it for a year, I dare you. So some of that is just nonsense, but like...
Yeah, if we're just talking about kindness, that's different.
Well, yeah,
But
be
like,
kind to people. Yes, we love that, but that's not what you actually mean. So I don't know. This just rubbed me the wrong way. I believe every wife can be married to a man who looks for ways to do nice things for her all of the time. It is in her power. She just has to do the things that unlock those doors inside of him. Like, why you, like, inequality. Again, inequality. I think a lot of the same things are, like, the same themes are really prevalent throughout this book. And that's just another instance of if you want your husband to be nice to you, you have to sleep with him.
well, it's weird because it's like, I don't know, to like the whole like unlocking those kind gestures, like
Yeah.
that you're not already deserving as their
Yeah.
spouse. Like, if you married me and you promised, like within the vows, like promising all these things,
Yeah.
isn't that included? Like
You would think so.
trying your best to like make it work and stuff, and like being your vulnerable self
It's just,
with
I
another
don't like that.
person.
Yeah, it should be. He makes it contingent on sex, and it's
Hmm.
not. Like, there have been, like, for various reasons that I won't get into, there have been, like, we've had some dry spells, like, several months of
I
dry
think
spells
everyone does. Yeah. Like
in our
it's
relationship.
very normal to have dry spells. Like
Yeah. And,
I
like,
think that we worry about it because people like this write books and think that we need to be having it apparently
right,
more than once a week, which once a
right.
week is already
That's plenty.
pretty, yeah.
That's plenty. We're busy.
Yeah.
But also, like, we've had those dry spells, but we've never stopped being nice to each other. Like,
Hmm.
when we have maintained, and I'm not going to say all the time, like, we've been through some roommate phases. We've been together for 8 years. Like, it happens.
Hmm.
And it's taken a lot of work to get out of that, and that's okay. But, like, even in those times where we weren't having sex for a few months at a time, that intimacy, that love,
Hmm.
like, it didn't disappear. It wasn't like, he still made me dinner. He still rubbed my back. Like, we still held hands and we went out and did stuff together. We still snuggled on the couch and watched TV. Like, those kinds
Well, I
of
feel like
things
for
are
like
not contingent on sex.
I feel like for the longest time when my husband and I were first married, it was kind of like anytime he was near me, touched me, snuggled me, it was usually because he wanted other
Yeah.
things. And obviously that's not the way things work.
No.
And we've definitely veered from that, but like it's like yeah. That's kind of how we were raised, to be honest.
Yeah,
So,
honestly. And I mean, yeah, I think a lot of relationships go through that. Like, and I mean, we certainly did, like, in the beginning of our relationship, where as soon as, like, he snuggled me, like, it almost always would lead to sex. And, like, sometimes I really do just want to cuddle. And
Mm-hmm.
also, I've talked to him about this, and also he's like, oh, I thought that, like, you wanted it. Like, I was doing it because I thought that you wanted it because you were, moving in a way that suggested you wanted it. I was like, well, I was doing that because I thought you wanted it, and blah, 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 back and forth. And, like, it just takes some communication to work out some of those kinks and, like, figure it out. Like, I don't know. It doesn't have to, nothing is contingent on sex. Nothing should be contingent on sex.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Yeah, a
my point.
relationship is far more than your sex life.
Yes.
I think that it's just like weird though, because normally, like, in the whole relation, like, I don't know, like in like IFB and like religious relationships and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
they make it very focused on your relationship. And like they view outside, like secular relationships as all about sex. But then it's like he's writing this book like it is all about
It's
sex.
totally the opposite. I'm sorry.
It's really
No.
confusing. It's
No.
super confusing.
Yeah, no. Secular relationships, I mean, obviously it depends, but I will say, like, from what I've seen and the people that I've interacted with, sex is so much less of a big deal. Like, not that
Oh,
it's not important, not that it's not good, but it's so much less of a big deal in relationships and marriages, successful ones that I've seen outside of religion, outside of the IFB. Within the IFB, there's a lot of, like, marital rape, and there's a lot of, like, women aren't allowed to go on birth control and they get pregnant when they don't want more kids and they don't have a choice and they're tired all the time and their body is going through so much and they don't have a choice. Like, because it's all about sex. Because it's
hmm.
all about sex. And it's
Well,
so.
and then there's also those religions and stuff and beliefs that we have to procreate, and
Mm-hmm.
like that having children is like one of God's greatest gifts to us. So
Yeah.
like there's also that. And there's something I was thinking of us covering. I don't know if you've seen it. It's Ballerina Farms. It's been
Yes, I
very viral,
have. I have
which
seen a lot of that.
I think we might want to do a video next, maybe like within the next few days, because it's kind
Yeah.
of viral right now. And when you have the mindset of like a child is a gift from God, and like if God blesses me with a child, then like, we need to have the child. And like
Yeah.
even if you don't want more kids and you're tired and all of the things, you feel like you have to, which is sad.
It is sad
Um,
because, like, children are gifts, whether they're from God, the universe, from yourself, whatever. Children are gifts.
mhm.
They deserve, like, they're not objects. Like, they are people and they deserve your love and attention and time and raising them, like, nourishing them. They deserve, like, a present parent, ideally,
Yeah.
two present parents. Like, they deserve that. And when you have kids on kids on kids on kids on kids, they don't get that.
Well,
It's just
they
fact.
deserve happy, healthy parents. So like
Yes.
mentally stable parents.
Yes. Equal time with their parents. That one on one time with your kids is so important.
And yeah, I would say with that idea of quiverful type of thing, it's like you do have to stop and think about, like, do I have enough of myself to give to
Mm-hmm.
this kid?
Mm-hmm.
Do I have, like, whether that's emotionally or financially, like, am I able to be present for all the kids in the way that I want to be? And
Yeah.
I think that a lot of them don't think about that. I think they think, oh, it's just, it's so fun having like a big family, and like they kind of raise each other and stuff. And that's not really
Kids aren't
healthy in the
parents.
long run.
Kids are not parents.
Um,
They're not
yeah.
supposed to
And
parent your younger children.
yeah, I would say, there's the whole idea of like, well, like you shouldn't hold finances above like having more kids. And it's like, no, like you need to be financially
That's
stable
so
to have
dumb.
kids.
Dude, they gotta eat. Like, they gotta have a place to
Yeah.
sleep. Like,
Unfortunately, God doesn't
money
always
matters.
supply. in the way that
No.
you think that he's going to for all those
No.
children you have.
And yeah, using your other kids as like free babysitters and stuff like that. Like so I'm the oldest, and we only had three, me and my younger brother and younger sister. But I was the oldest, and I was pretty parentified after my mom went back to school and then went back to work. So I mean, like, I was getting my siblings up for school, making them lunches, like, making sure their laundry was done, things like that when I was like 13, 14.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I couldn't drive yet. So my mom or dad would get up. Like, they didn't really do anything for us. Like, they just drove us
Mm-hmm.
to school and dropped us off. When I was 16, I got my driver's license. That was my job. Like, I made sure everybody was up in time for school. My little brother was a beast to wake up in the morning. Oh my goodness. But like, I made sure they had lunches, and I was working at that point as well. I got a job this summer, like after I turned 16, like 2 months after I turned 16. Like, so I was working, and I would make sure, we would leave early and get coffee sometimes, like, give them little treats. But honestly, like, I feel like I raised them the last 2 years of my life so much. And I mean, I love them
Mm-hmm.
both very much. And I love that time that we got to spend together. But that was a lot for me as a 16-year-old. And I only had two siblings. I know a lot of other people, IFB, IBLP. I mean, the Duggars are a great example where you have to do it for a lot of other siblings, and it's too much. It's too much for a
Yeah.
kid. Let's get into chapter 2. So throw it on me. What you got?
Okay, so it starts with saying, "We need each other. Take a deep breath, psych yourself up, and say it out loud. I desperately need my mate." Okay.
Okay.
So then it goes on to talk about how God made us needy and vulnerable and incomplete.
Oof.
And he gave us marriage and commanded us to lifelong commitments and complete monogamy, then blessed it with sexual pleasure, children, and inner completeness. So, oh God, the
Okay.
whole idea, you know how I feel about like not feeling enough and
Yeah.
the whole rhetoric behind that within religion and stuff, and how it's really messed with me
Yeah.
throughout my life, and I'm sure with you as well. Many
Oh,
people that I
I'm really
know
fucked
of,
up. Yeah.
yeah, many people that I know of that have gone through religious trauma and stuff, one of the biggest things that they all seem to feel is how unworthy and not enough they are. Um, and to me, I don't like the idea of saying, which obviously he's enforcing this within the way that he like raises his kids and stuff, to believe that they need someone else to be like,
Yeah.
I don't like that idea. Like,
Yeah.
don't need someone else to be whole. Like, there's people that literally they're single and they're happy.
Believe it or
Like they're
not.
complete.
Yes.
Like that's
Yeah.
not it's not like a thing
I
you have to have in life. I would say
yeah.
he talks about it like you need a companion or whatever, right?
Get a
And like
dog.
to me it's like no, we don't need a mate. Okay, we don't need a spouse or a partner. We
Yeah.
need community. Yeah, like a
Right.
human race, we need community and we
Right.
human connection, but that doesn't require you to be married or to
No.
be sexually active with anyone. Like it doesn't require a relate one person forever. Like
Right.
it requires friendship and family and things that don't have to be only romantic or whatever. So that part, I don't like the way that
Yeah.
he talks about that.
And
I
I'll say,
also
like, really quick for myself, and I think that this has a lot to do with how I was raised, but as a person, I do. I need my husband. I'm
Mhm.
very codependent on him. I have
I
learned
would
in
say I am
therapy.
too.
Yeah, I've learned in therapy that that's probably not healthy. And we have, I mean, no shame in this. We've gone to couples counseling a few times. It has helped tremendously with like
Mhm.
deconstructing some of that like trauma bond part of the relationship
Oh
that we
yeah.
have.
I think that when we were first married, I had an extreme anxious attachment style,
Yeah,
and
I still
I've
do.
definitely, I think with like how just what is it? Like because Nathan and I's relationship has been so normal and like non-toxic,
Love that.
it's helped me not have an anxious attachment anymore. So
Yeah.
like because it hasn't been turbulent, like
Mm,
I'm now accustomed to relationships not being turbulent anymore, right?
that
So
makes so
like when
much
I grew
sense.
up, like my parents, they did fight a lot and stuff, and there was a lot of like them almost leaving each other and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think because of that, I've had an anxious attachment. Like I was never sure if they were going to stay together or
Yeah.
whatever, right? And when I got married, I think I felt that way like, oh, maybe he's going to leave or whatever, right? But because we've had years and years of it just being very like calm and normal and like
Yeah.
him, you know, dealing with my big reactions and stuff, like
Yeah.
because of my anxious attachment,
Yeah.
it's just been like I don't feel that way anymore, like at all. And like we don't have as many fights and stuff just because like literally
Yeah.
just because of how my attachment style has changed and that I'm just comfortable and say I feel safe in our relationship, obviously.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I think that we we're kind of raised in the idea of like being codependent. And I think that a lot of people are, to be
Oh,
honest. I
yeah.
think either you're like insanely independent or like you're codependent. Like I don't know if there's like a
Dude,
middle ground.
I have waves. I'll be honest with you. I have waves where I'm just like, I'm a
Yeah.
strong, independent woman. I don't need no man. And then I'm just like, I
Hmm.
am a literal baby and I need everything. I
Hmm.
have waves. I don't know.
Yeah.
I got issues.
Well, I think that like I would say for myself, because I've had a lot of mental health issues, I've struggled with like getting and keeping regular jobs.
Hmm.
And I think a lot of it's weird because like I know I'm good at stuff and I know I have like a good personality and like
Yeah.
I am smart and like I know
Yeah.
all these things. But like when I go into like the interview process, I think it's like the whole rejection, like I can't remember what the term is for like when you have a big reaction to rejection.
Mm.
I get that with like job rejections. Like
Okay.
I don't really get that with people. I get it with jobs. Like I have
Interesting.
insane anxiety with like putting myself out there like
Yeah.
with like a resume or like
Yeah.
with an interview. Like I freeze and I like just get very anxious and I self-sabotage almost, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
Like but it's like my mental health. Like then he goes on to say that like Adam had all these animals because God made him and then made all these animals. And he
Okay.
was like not satisfied
Okay.
with just a he basically is like he has a dog or whatever, a devoted dog, but he's like not that's not fulfilling for him.
Okay.
Um it all goes back to like the whole idea that like God made everything perfect. And like
Well, did he or didn't he? Like honestly, like that's one of those
well he made everything right.
well, yeah, honestly, like this is one of those inconsistencies within the Bible that I struggle with like doctrinally
Like
and why
he made everything correct the way that he thinks that it should be
except
made,
for
like the
us.
right way. But then he made us to be sinful
Yeah.
also. And he created evil because, like, everything, I'm assuming, comes from God. If he's the creator of all things. If he made
Yeah.
light, he made darkness. And the same
Right.
goes for angels and demons. So he created all of it. If he created the good, he had to have created the bad.
Right.
Um,
So yeah, it's
but
just
it's
it's one of those
weird.
like other inconsistencies, which I mean, there's a
Yeah,
lot of them, but yeah.
it's weird because it's like with this, it's like Adam's like, I'm not like fulfilled, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's why he makes Eve or whatever.
Yeah.
Because Adam wasn't fulfilled. But it's like, wouldn't God have known that, like, in the first place? I don't know. It's weird. I just don't like, okay, this guy, he talks about cats, okay? So he's
Uh-oh.
like, the devoted dog was considered but rejected. The self-absorbed cat was considered rejected and left on this earth to serve as speed bumps, wheel chocks, and a playmate for the putty dog.
Are you fucking kidding me?
No.
Oh, no. No, no, no,
Yeah.
no, no. Oh my God. Go fuck yourself, sir.
What is it? What
No.
is it with these motherfucking like Christians or like what is it? Incels? Like what is it with them hating cats?
Why do you hate cats? Honestly, I'm going to
Why
tell
do
you
you
my
hate a
theory.
cat?
I'm going to tell you my theory. Cats are different than dogs. You have to earn their affection, and cats have boundaries. If you play with their belly and they don't want you to play with their belly, they're going to tell you. Like,
Oh yeah, this is
cats
the
have
theory I told
boundaries.
you. The
Yes,
theory I told you is
we
that
talked about this before,
yes,
and I
the
strongly
theory
believe that if you don't like cats, it's because you're a piece of shit that doesn't like boundaries. 9
yes.
times out of 10. Not everybody. My uncle
The
doesn't like
theory
cats,
okay,
but he's a good person.
the
So,
theory is that like yeah, basically the reason that you like dogs is because they'll do whatever the hell you want
yeah.
and let you do whatever you want like you want to them, but
Yeah.
cats don't. And so that means that you don't respect boundaries or you don't like
Yep.
boundaries if you don't like a cat because cats
Yep.
do have boundaries.
Yeah.
And also cats are very sweet and beautiful and
And
wonderful.
also,
And
I have a cat that does let me do whatever I want. Like, you've seen
also
Baron, you've seen him. He comes up, flops up here, and I'll hold him
I
like a
do have
baby, and
to
he's happy,
say
happy, happy.
I like cats better than dogs.
Same.
So it is what
Okay,
it
I
is.
will say, so we both have a lot of animals. I have 6 cats and 2 dogs. You have 4 cats and
I
3
have
dogs?
4 cats and 3 dogs, yes.
Yeah. So I love dogs, love all animals, but yeah, cats are the
Hmm.
shit. I love cats, always have.
Yes, I would have a million if they didn't shit so much because literally everything's perfect about them except that.
Yeah,
So,
fair. Cat litter stinks.
yeah.
Yes.
But we do have a kitty robot litter thing,
I know, we
so
need to
and
get
it's
one.
so worth it.
I know.
Man has inner voids which can never be filled apart from his own wife. No amount of success, adventure, or conquest will ever get that job done. Man and women may be different, but we desperately need each other.
That is so stupid. Like, okay, I am not gonna say, okay, let me organize my thoughts really quick. If you are a person who wants to be married, wants to have a relationship, wants that extra something or someone in your life, that's totally fine. You're not a bad person. Like, that's okay. If you are a person who doesn't need that, you can live a fulfilled life all on your own with a dog, with a cat, whatever you want, with a fucking snake, who cares? Like, it's so ridiculous how black and white this man is being. He's saying every man, every woman. Like, that's such bullshit. I
Yeah, we all have a void within our lives that can only be fulfilled by a spouse.
And I'm going to say, like, okay, I'm going to say this speaking as somebody who agrees with that for myself, not for anybody else, but for myself. I feel that I would not be a fulfilled person or a whole person without my husband. He has become such a
Hmm.
huge part of my life and I love him so much. But I also like a lot of that is codependency and it's not healthy. So do as I say, not as I do. Um,
Hmm.
I shouldn't have to feel like that. Like that doesn't. It's because of how I was raised. Like, and I know
I would
that.
say that relationships obviously enrich your life,
100%.
but I wouldn't say that well, I mean, relationships are necessary to a human experience or whatever. But
Right, but
not
it doesn't have to be
marriage.
romantic and it doesn't have to be sexual for it to be
Yeah.
something that is positive for your life
Marriage
and
is not
can.
required for you to feel
No.
successful and whatever.
No.
And also, people can definitely feel fulfilled by their jobs and
Right.
by their adventures and success.
Yeah.
You can definitely fill that void with that. So it's
Absolutely.
all kind of lies or just like not, it's not, this isn't for everyone, obviously. Like, we
Yeah.
don't all
Like
feel
this
this
book
way.
does not like it breaks people into you are either a man who wants sex or a woman who wants dresses or pretty
Emotional
things
needs.
or
Oh, yeah.
emotional needs or whatever. Like there's no balance for people who are perfectly content being single. There's no balance for men who would rather have their emotional or financial needs met than sexual. There's no balance for women who have a high sex drive and don't really care that much about their emotional needs. There's all different kinds of people in this world that are
Hmm.
all going to be fulfilled and whole in different ways. Like
Hmm.
it is not this black and white.
And that's not even talking about like different sexual needs too, with like
Right.
people that literally don't have a sex drive. They aren't
Yeah,
attracted. They aren't attracted to anyone. Like,
right. Like Ace.
that's
Ace people exist
that's a
too.
thing
Absolutely.
too. Yeah.
Yes.
Also, the gays, like, let's not mention that in this book.
Oh.
Okay. So then he goes on. This is called Eve was created to be a responder, and it's like talking about whatever. So the thing that annoys me is he's like talking about how he made Eve and that he called her woman or Mrs. Adam, not nag, the old lady, the old bag, old bat, or ball and chain. Since that day, this is what annoys me. Since that day, a woman has taken her husband's last name. So what's Adam and Eve's last name? Because like
They don't have a last name.
obviously he knows that she took his last name, but what is it? Where the hell does it say in the Bible that they took
No, it
each other's
doesn't.
names? First of all, that is like I would say that's a newer concept for you to like take your husband's name because,
I mean,
well,
relatively in the scheme of like how long the world has existed. Yeah.
yeah, well, because okay, and it depends on each culture because like in Mexico, we
Yeah.
keep our maiden name and we add our husband's name and then it goes on forever. You have two names forever.
Yeah.
So you don't get rid of one, you just add. And
Yeah.
I personally love that idea and prefer it.
Yeah.
And probably will eventually get my name changed back to like
Well, I
having
know,
both.
and I know a lot of couples who like have just chosen a different last name for themselves, like
Yeah, I
together.
think that's beautiful too.
I
Like to
love
just
it.
make up a name. Like,
I
why does it matter?
well,
It's
whenever
just a
we
name.
exactly like whenever we get like officially legally married or whatever, I'm going to take Theo's last name because I like it better than mine.
Hmm.
And
And people
he's
do that, and that's totally fine. But the thing that
yeah,
he's just like assuming, like, oh yeah, she has to take his last name.
you
It's
don't
like
have to do that. That's so dumb.
it's just misogynistic as fuck.
That's so stupid.
Um. So then, one man alone is suicide. Two men together are homicide. So he's like in parentheses it says Cain and Abel are homicide. But
What
man
did
and women can find peace and completion.
oh stop. This man is actually giving me a headache. Like,
Yeah, it's not good. It's not
oh
good at
my
all.
god. Okay. Just because you live
Uh,
alone doesn't mean you have to kill yourself. Like, just because you...
If
Does he say
you're
anything about two women?
no.
Of course not. Okay, yeah, no, dude, because this
Well, you know
is...
what though? You know why? It's because two men together is horrific for a man to think of if you're not gay. But as a straight man, two women together,
hot.
it's sexy as fuck. So
Yeah.
why would he
This
mention
is
that?
so stupid. Oh my god.
Yeah.
This is a great example of taking scripture out of context. Like parentheses Cain and Abel. Like this
Hmm.
one situation where these two brothers, two men, like one killed the other one,
I
and
think
you're
it's
going to
just
use that
that's
to
just
justify
that's a good example of the fact that
what?
like men need like literally they have to be like my dick's bigger than your dick. Like that's how they
Actually,
fight. You know what I
actually.
mean?
So
They just
dumb.
talk with their dicks.
Go to therapy, people, please. Jesus Christ.
Okay, so then so men need to initiate, women need to respond. Uh
Fuck that.
so he goes on to say all these things that you need to respond to, right?
Oh dear.
So when he kisses you on the back of the neck while you stand at the kitchen sink, forget the dishes and drag him back to the bedroom.
Stop it. Stop it. Stop it.
There's
Okay, is he going to do the dishes?
more. There's more.
No.
When he gropes you under the table, grab yourself a handful of man, squeeze and wink coyly.
What the fuck? Ew. Ugh. Gross.
Right?
Oh, that is disgusting. Oh my god. Okay.
Can you imagine your parents just being like grabbing each
Bro,
other
is this
underneath
thing
the
like
table?
at the table with just the two of you, or like with other people? Because that's like
Also, like if you have, they don't. I think they have 5 kids. Like, what do you mean you're just gonna like stop doing dishes and just go? Like, you can't just have sex whenever kids.
no.
They have to be sleeping or not there or something.
Yeah. Yep.
Like,
Jesus
because that's
Christ.
awkward. Or do they just like they're like, mommy and daddy are gonna have sex. We're gonna lock the door, okay? Like, do they do that? Like,
God.
do you know what I mean? Maybe they
Oh
do
my
because they're like,
gosh.
we want our kids to know we have sex because that's the only way that we're actually in love.
That's icky. That's icky.
Okay. Yeah. It's not good.
Is there more?
No, that was like that's
Okay,
like the
good.
responding
God.
thing or whatever. So then when he endures the humiliation of braving the Wonder Broad jungle in a department store to bring you an exciting nightie, act glad and find a way to make it work. If it is 2 sizes too small and you feel like a sack of grapefruit jammed okay, a sack of grapefruits jammed into a lemon bag. Act
What?
flattered.
What?
Act flattered. Drop the bottoms. Pull the top down around your middle. And let him see the most beautiful nightie you almost had on. Oh my god.
Oh my god, there are not enough words. Holy shit.
Yeah. Yeah, it's great, right? Also, like, I feel like back in the day, I don't know, I remember being like, I wouldn't go, like, walking around in, like, the underwear section was, like, forbidden, I thought.
Yeah.
Because, like,
Well, it's the same
you're
as the
seeing,
alcohol section. Like,
it's like
you're
the
not
men,
supposed to look
like,
at it.
the men's underwear thing, and obviously the women's too, like, you can see the boobies and the balls and all the
Right.
things. So, like,
Right.
I thought that wasn't allowed, so it's kind of weird
It
that he's,
wasn't
like,
for me.
going out.
Maybe it is when you're married. Maybe that's one of those special
Oh yeah,
like,
yeah,
marriage
that's true.
privileges.
Because when you're married, you're like nothing else turns you on other than your wife. So,
Yeah, totally.
I don't know if you knew that. But he's just talking about how like basically when he does something, just like be happy and respond to it.
Yeah, that's
you know?
such bullshit.
And
Okay,
then,
so again, no boundaries. Also, women can initiate if
Yeah,
they
they
want
can.
to. There are
So
times
then,
when I'm like really horny and I'm just like, all right, let's go, buddy.
Yeah.
And we go. like that's okay too.
Yeah.
Like, oh my
it's
god.
just like
He
Okay,
also
so
can
when
say
he
no. Like, he can also say no. I'm just going to throw that out there. If I'm in
Mhm.
that kind of a mood and he's like, yeah, no, I'm not really up to it. Okay, cool.
Yeah,
No
it's
worries.
normal. It's very much like it's yeah, boundaries, guys. Okay.
God.
When he tries to read the Bible or pray with you, don't correct his mistakes. I feel like he's like writing this to his wife, like, bitch, don't correct me. Okay.
Like, I feel like he's literally calling out everything his wife has ever done that has annoyed him.
Probably, yeah.
Like, I groped you
Okay.
and you didn't grope me back.
So then the next part is he's like, I'm a man and I go hunting and I'm, sweaty and
What?
I haven't shaved in a while and I'm covered in shit and spider webs and it's so cool. And then he's like, then I come home and I'm nasty and I go and I make sure to like literally this is his like he does this thing every single time after he goes hunting. He
Okay.
comes home and gives his daughters like a hug and a kiss. Like okay, so first thing I do when I walk in the door back at home is find one of my teenage daughters, walk up behind her, put my arms around her, and rub my scratchy, sweaty beard on the side of her as I kiss her. At first, they recoiled in horror. Gross,
Ew.
Daddy, go get your shower. But
Yeah.
I am teaching them how to respond to a man.
Oh, ew. Oh, no. No, 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 no,
Mhm.
no, no.
After
Oh.
repeated and enjoyable practices for
Oh,
me,
God.
they now say, I just love a big, brave, sweaty, hunting man who works so hard to keep meat on our freezers in our freezers. Yeah.
Ew.
One day
Ew.
they will marry a man who will thank me. My girls will know how to respond.
Oh, that is so disgusting. Oh, that is actually so disgusting. Ugh. I can't. Oh
Isn't
my
it crazy?
God. What is the matter with this man? Oh, what?
Uh
Oh, that is so disgusting. Don't
yeah.
sexualize your children, you morons. Do not
Yeah.
sexualize your children. I don't know how many fucking times you need to hear it, but do not
It's like
sexualize your children. It's disgusting.
just like have a good relationship with them. You don't have to make it creepy,
No,
you
and
know?
this is creepy. Teaching your daughters how to respond to a man,
To a
the
man.
man being you, your
Mhm.
daughters should not learn anything sexual from you
Yeah.
physically. You can have a sex talk with your children and keep it informative and not fucking creepy. And that's fine. That's encouraged. But you don't touch your children sexually. That's ooh. I'm getting angry right now. I need to calm down.
Yeah, it's really weird. It's very weird the way that
Oh.
he talks about these things. A man is almost helpless against a woman who wants him in the bedroom.
Well, that's a weak ass man right there.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Like, just any bitch that comes around that wants to fuck
Facts.
you, you're just like, let's go.
Yeah,
Like, what?
honestly. Like you're like that is honestly pathetic. Like actually pathetic.
Yeah. No,
If
yeah,
if you
that's why
can't
I highlighted it. I was like, excuse me? What?
No, stop thinking with your dick. Actually,
That's all you
I
do,
feel like I'm yelling
apparently.
so much right now in this episode, but holy shit, that is actually pathetic.
Yeah. So then he goes on to talk about how when they got married, so when we got married, we wedded an illusion. And so basically that whatever, right? Like that I would say everyone probably feels they've lived with the person and know them fully.
Yeah.
If you get married how we did, you kind of do marry into an illusion because you don't know what you're
Yeah.
with like living with a person for the first time and like being intimate with a person
Well,
for the first
yeah.
time. It's
That's
a
fair.
lot to adjust to. She would be beautiful enough to marry a movie star, but only want us. She would never be sick, just allergic to jewelry and fur coats. She would insist on moving the furniture all by herself because it was good for her figure. She would be expert in cooking, cleaning a house, fixing the car, painting the walls, and being quiet. Which I literally just highlighted and being quiet. Like everything else, yeah, that's hella misogynistic. But the fact that he put being quiet with those two, like,
I can't. I actually can't. Oh my god.
mm-hmm. Also, there's like this picture, like I don't know why. It's like I think he talks about a Cupid. Oh yeah, okay. For those couples, it seemed that Cupid had been assassinated. So there's literally a little baby Cupid with an arrow in its back. It's dead. And I'm gonna insert the photo because
That's
it's
sad.
very creepy.
Okay. All right.
It's so creepy. Because it's literally like a nude little baby just dead. Okay, so but instead of this illusion, some men married a woman who speaks 100 words per minute with gusts up to 180. She was a model for a totem pole. Where there's smoke, there she is cooking. She's a light eater. Once it gets light, she starts eating. She lets you know you only have two faults: everything you do and everything you say. No matter what she does with it, her hair still looks like an explosion in a factory. If you get lost, open your wallet and she'll find you. Pretty soon, to get her out of the house, you'll have to grease her hips and throw a Snicker bar onto the front porch.
Oh my god.
Yeah, that's what I highlighted. What the fuck, dude?
Huh, huh.
Grease her hips and throw a Snicker bar?
Okay. All right.
That
You know
is
what?
so bad, right?
Okay. I'm a fat person. I'm plus
Isn't
size.
that horrendous though?
That's
Like,
awful.
what the fuck?
Okay, I'm gonna talk about this for a while because I have been overweight most of my life and I have really struggled with different eating disorders. I also have 4 autoimmune diseases, and it makes it really hard to exercise without a ridiculous amount of pain. Okay, so there's a lot of reasons why I'm overweight.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of reasons that aren't my fault, and there's a lot of reasons that are. I don't like being overweight. It's not fun.
And to be honest, I don't think anyone does. And I think
No.
that people need to be careful with fat shaming. And I think that it's better, obviously, because there is a lot of stuff that you can't, like, that are literally out of your control when it comes to,
Yeah.
like, your weight.
Very much so. And I'm going to say that it is 100% okay to have a conversation with your partner and be like, I am worried about your health and I need you to be around. I need you to take care of yourself and I need you to be around for the long haul and be here for me and our kids or whatever and just be here. That is
Mm-hmm.
100% okay. And I think that any spouse has the right to do that if there is a legitimate health concern. I think that that is totally fair. I have been on the receiving end of that conversation and it sucks, but it's fair. It is not okay to talk about the person you love like that. That does irreparable damage.
Mm-hmm.
I've had people say some really shitty things about me and about my body.
Mm-hmm.
And it has done irreparable damage.
Yeah.
It is not it's not okay to talk about people like this. Like, honestly, how dare you? How dare you feel like you have the right to judge somebody else for the way that they're living their life? And again, it is 100% okay to look at somebody you love and be like, I am concerned about you and I want you to be okay and be healthy. That is 100% okay. But to paint that picture about somebody that you supposedly love, I think that if you can talk that way about somebody, I don't think that you ever truly loved them.
To me, it's just like the way that he's speaking, like, okay, so it's almost like he's saying like this is kind of like the worst case scenario that you can have within like a marriage, right? So like you go in and you have all these expectations, but then you end up with a wife that talks too much. So, like, obviously, you want your woman to be quiet. You don't want her to have opinions. Then, secondly, so, like, being too talkative and having opinions, having a mind of her own, that's
Mm-hmm.
the first thing. Then the second thing is, God forbid, she gains weight.
Yep.
So, yeah, those are the most, like,
And can't
horrifying
cook.
things that could happen in a marriage when that's not true. Like,
That is so not true.
your spouse dying
Yeah.
would be horrible. Your
I
spouse,
feel,
getting
oh my
sick,
God.
your spouse, like,
And
whatever. Like,
I'm just going to say this. If you are a decent man, like, this is talking to straight men, if you are a good man, if you're a decent man, you want a woman that has opinions. You want a
yeah.
woman that is smart, that well
Well,
read,
like,
that
if you
can
have a
read. Like,
brain,
yeah, you
if you're not an
don't want
incel, you want someone
you
you
don't
can
want
have
a
a
doll.
conversation with.
You don't want a doll. Like, you
You
shouldn't
literally,
want a
like,
doll.
you want a friend, like, you want a friend for life. And
Yeah.
if you can't have a conversation with your spouse, like, what's
Yep.
the freaking point of it? Like,
Right.
yeah, maybe you can have good sex, but, like, you need to be able to have a conversation with them too.
Marriage is not about sex. That it's just not. Sex is like this, it's
A
fun
small
and it's
portion of life,
pleasurable,
yeah.
but it's a small part of a marriage. There can be 100 things in a marriage and two of them are sex. And like, if all of the other 98 are good and the sex isn't great, who fucking cares? Like,
Yeah.
who fucking cares? And I'm not saying that like you can't have conversations and communicate, work on it, like figure things out. That's fine. But
Hmm.
like, your marriage should not be all about sex. That is a recipe for disaster.
Yeah, especially because, like, then if you're only seeing your spouse as a sexual object, obviously you're going to lose attraction to them
Yeah,
when they
bodies
gain weight and
change.
stuff. And it's like,
Especially if you're going to, force your wife to have children on children
well,
on
yeah,
children
your
on children,
body's
or even
no
if they
matter
choose to have children on children on children,
well,
your body
no matter
changes.
what happens, your bodies change.
Yeah.
Like, whether you have kids or not, your bodies are going to change. You're
Yeah.
getting older,
Yep.
your metabolism's getting slower.
Yep.
Like, when you marry someone, you say till death do us part, and, like, that's what it is. Like, life requires change. Like,
Yeah.
we have to change to
Yep.
keep living.
Yep.
And, you know, like, if I gain a lot of weight or whatever, like, my husband's not going to view me any different. Like, he's never said anything about my weight ever.
Yeah.
And I've seen people say stuff, like, other people say stuff about my weight, or like other people say stuff about his weight, but I've never said anything to him about his. And to me, it's like, I don't see him for his body. Like, I
Right.
see him for who he is.
Yeah.
And that's what, like, to me, obviously, I just want him to be healthy and
Yeah.
to be happy within himself. And, like, if he feels like, this is how I view it, like, if he feels like he wants to lose weight, then, like, I'll support him in that. You can do that
Right.
if you want to, but I'm not like, you need to, right?
Right.
It's not, I don't require him to at all or anything. And for me, it's like, when you love someone, you see past those things and you are there for them and you work through it with them. And I don't know, it's not, weight to me has never been like an issue, honestly.
Yeah.
Like, it's not something that I see, and, like, especially after having kids, like, for me, I would say I've had more, like, I've been self-conscious of myself
Mm-hmm.
after having kids, but, like, Nathan's never said anything,
Yeah.
and um yeah, but also, like, having kids also changes the way that you view your body too in general. Like, you have a lot more compassion towards it, and
Yeah.
like, you're amazed by it because it created life. So she married an illusion too. She thought her man would lavish her with gifts for no particular reason.
Stop it.
But she got confused with Santa Claus, who was
Oh,
already married.
stop. My God.
He would look at no other woman but her. But he still thinks Sharon Stone, the swimsuit model in Sports Illustrated. What? But he still thinks Sharon Stone, the swimsuit model in Sports Illustrated, and the babysitter down the street all want to meet him. What does that even mean?
Self-obsessed much? Like, what? That's, oh
Isn't
my God.
that the weirdest comment ever? Like,
That's so weird.
he's obviously, like, he himself is still thinking about porn he looked at in
Yeah.
his dad's magazine
Yeah.
or something.
Yep.
Porn, right? Like swimsuit models or whatever.
Right.
I just think that's so, like, what a weird, like, what, in the babysitter down the street? Like, do you have a crush on someone's babysitter?
I
The
mean,
fuck is happening here?
it might be like I don't know, neighbor kid that babysits their kids or something like that. Like, I mean, that's a pretty common fetish, babysitters.
It's gross, though.
Yeah.
Especially
Yeah.
because they're usually younger, like teenagers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So that's saying something.
Super gross. God.
Yeah.
So he married an illusion because she is going to be like obese and can't do her hair, can't cook, talks too much. But she married an illusion because she doesn't get things.
Yeah, she doesn't get
What the fuck is up with
items.
that? Dude. These men
Yeah.
should not be allowed to, like, get married. Like, honestly.
Okay, so I don't know if this is still, like, I don't think this is the illusion. I think this is, like, who she actually married.
Okay.
He leaves the commode, is it commode?
Yeah.
The commode lid up. He says, learn to work the toilet seat. You're a big girl. If it's up, put it down. We need it up, and you need it down. Figure it out. You don't hear us complaining when you leave it down, so quit
Okay,
griping
you know what? We're going to talk about
when
this.
we leave it up.
We are going to talk about this because I've heard this 100 times before. If you leave the toilet seat up and I don't see it, I'm falling in the toilet.
Okay,
if I
he
leave
says more, though. He says more about
oh
this.
my God.
Okay, but can we talk about the fact that men, like, okay, not all men stand when they're peeing, although
Right.
it seems like it's a mark of manhood, men,
That's
like,
so
being
dumb.
a dominant man is to
That's so
stand
dumb.
when you're peeing.
Also, I'm going to say this really quick. Our toilet seat stays down all the time. Have good aim.
Mhm.
Learn to work the thing and point it correctly. Like, our toilet seat stays down all the time. Theo has great aim.
Mhm.
Just saying. Like,
Also, yeah, so, like, let's not talk about, like, the hours they spend pooping. So the
Facts.
majority of their time,
facts.
the majority of their
Facts.
time is actually sitting, like, on the
Facts.
downside. It's like,
For real. So you need it down too, buddy boy.
they need it down most of the time because they poop
Jesus
for hours.
Christ. They do literal hours. I don't understand. It's crazy.
Yeah. So maybe this was before smartphones or something.
Okay.
Okay. So you don't hear us complaining when you leave it down. So quit griping when we leave it up.
You're
No
literally
sane
sitting there
person-
complaining. Like,
No sane person should ever walk into a drop their drawers and sit down on water without anyway.
Shut up. Dude,
I mean,
when I'm half asleep,
I've definitely almost.
I have done this.
Yeah,
No, I've
fallen in.
straight up done this. Like, when I'm super tired, like if I have to get up and pee in the middle of the night, I am not thinking about.
One of my family members did that one, and a green frog jumped out of the toilet and attached itself to his person. He flailed about like a toad in a blender, trying to detach the suctioned creature from his vulnerable parts.
Oh my God, gross.
Yeah, what the fuck? Why do they have frogs in their toilets?
What the fuck? Okay.
Isn't that weird?
That's all right. Okay.
And then he goes on to say, uh, she expects him to like all the ways she does her hair. Men generally like longer hair on their women.
No, they don't. No, they don't. And quite frankly, you shouldn't do your hair for a man. So, but
Yeah.
I will say, like, dude, honestly, being with a man who was not raised IFB is pretty fucking awesome. Because if I, like, he's also honest. Like, he doesn't like every single way that I do my hair. He actually
Hmm.
cares about what my hair looks like. And he, even when he's like, yeah, I don't really like that so much, but if you feel pretty, you're still pretty, and I think you should wear it like that.
Hmm.
That is the correct response. He doesn't like it when I curl my hair, like he likes my natural curls,
Hmm.
but like he doesn't like it when I curl my hair. I still do it sometimes because I feel pretty and I don't care and I
Hmm.
don't do my hair for him, but that's
Yeah.
okay. He's allowed to have opinions. He also like, oh, dude, that's so stupid. He cares. He cares what my hair looks like because I ask him
Hmm.
to care what my hair looks like. It's not pulling teeth to get him to have an opinion on an outfit. Like, it's also like I don't like going out shopping very often. I do most of my like clothes shopping and stuff online, but I'll send him
Hmm.
screenshots and he's like, I don't know if that's gonna look the greatest on you, or fucking buy that right now. That's gonna look so hot. Like he has those
Hmm.
opinions about things that are important to me. It's not pulling teeth
Yeah.
to get that.
Yeah. I would say I feel the same. I mean, I've always like not really cared what people
Yeah.
think of me. Because I'm gonna do what I want
Yeah.
with my body because it
Yep.
makes me happy.
Do it. Get it.
So that's kind of how I feel. And I do the same thing with my husband. Like, I would say he prefers me brunette, and I'm like, I like to be blonde. So
Yeah.
deal with it.
Exactly. Like I okay, the only time that I have ever changed my hair color for him, I had red hair and it was the shade of red that I thought was really cool, but it looked a lot like his mom's shade of red hair and he's like, honestly, it's
Oh,
tripping me
yeah.
out. I don't think I can handle this. I'm just like, you know what?
No.
That's
Yeah.
fair. I'll give that to you. That is 100% fair. So I changed it. And that's okay.
But yeah, that's all for today, I would say.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's been interesting reading this book.
This book is shit. I, honestly,
Yeah.
I've enjoyed reading this because I haven't really delved into a lot of IFB marriage books this deeply. I just know like the general problematic themes, but it is something
Hmm.
else. Like actually seeing the written word like look like this, it is
I just think
ridiculous.
the certain like specific stories, especially like the one with like the frog being on his son's privates,
Yeah,
that's such a like what a weird story to add in and be like, "Oh
right.
yeah, let's add this in." It's like that's good. Like
And also
there's
the I don't
definitely
know, just
certain things I'm like you should have edited some of these out.
or maybe had a woman read this book before you published it. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know, man. But yeah, I think that's about it for today. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please like, subscribe, comment, share, whatever. Click all the buttons. Click the buttons. Thank you very much. And we will be back next week. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Share your story.
If you have been affected by religious trauma or abuse, we want to hear your story.
Even if you're not ready to share publicly, we would be happy to listen and support you on your journey, free of judgment or pressure.
Please email us at cultconfessionskjv@gmail.com to get started.
We believe you.